Hey, you guys, Karen from Master Spirit Guides. I hope you're doing well. So, I just had a very interesting conversation with the higher self of Mr. Donald Trump. I will actually not call him names, his higher self. So, yeah, I wanted to share it with you. It was very interesting. I thought because last night we did tariffs and kind of what his approach is and stuff, I thought I'm doing this little series on talking to higher selves of prominent people. And again, if you have anybody you want me to talk with using the pendulum, so we can use the dowsing rods, but just using the pendulum map and a pendulum, which looks like this for folks who are new. Okay, and so I had a conversation with him. It was kind of interesting. So at first, I did have to. Well, I asked my SGs if it was okay if we pulled him in, and they said yes. And so then I talked, and I said, "Hi, Donald Trump's higher self," and he started giving me a message, and I'm going to share that with you in a minute. As he was giving me the message, though, I thought, and you'll have to tell me what you think, because I thought, I don't know. It doesn't seem like a message a higher self would say what he said to me. And so then I did the law of challenge, which if you're new here, it's something you say 3 times with the dowsing rods, or with the pendulum. You can do it either way, wherever you can get a yes and no answer. Or if you're, clairvoyant or something, and at least you get a yes and no answer, you would say, in the name of Christ, are you of the highest and purest light? You would ask that 3 times. If they said yes 3 times, then they're of the highest and purest light. But because they're required to give you an honest answer. Anyway, so I did that. I said, okay, well, I said, if you start doing a reading for yourself and something doesn't seem right, that's when I pull the law of challenge. I do the law of challenge. I always do it every morning with just at the start of the day with my SGs. But so anyways, it didn't seem right, but he said yes. So the law of challenge, they're required to give you an honest answer. So he said yes. So I thought, okay, well, this is interesting. So we can tease this out together. Then I also asked him for if he would like to give us some messages. And I'll tell you what I asked him specifically in a second. But, through the oracle, give us a message with the oracles and with my deck of 60. And I'm surprised he picked this one, the Inner Child Oracle. So I was asking towards the end of my conversation with him is what would he like us to know? That I wanted him to know we're a community that are raising our vibration. Our goal in this community is to do what we can individually and collectively to raise our vibrations so that the vibration of the planet will be raised, right? And, so that we can shift from 3D to 4D to 5D, and doing that together. And how do we, and just exploring how best to do that, supporting one another. And I wanted him to know that's kind of when I'm talking to other higher selves, I want them to know that, like, what can you tell us that would help us do this? It's hard to be in human body, right? Especially when we have to deal with other humans, like his spirit, his, part of his higher self that's down here on earth creating havoc. It makes it harder for us to keep our vibration raised, right? So anyway, so that's kind of the conversation I had with him. So let me show you what he said. Okay, I got my little sticky notes. I think I'm gonna have to buy a dry erase board. I mean, I feel like I keep throwing these away, and that's just not, why am I doing that? This is what being on a spiritual journey does for you. You start to question, well, even like Mother Earth, because you start to really, I've always cared about that. Like I've always recycled and, just pick up garbage and just do what I can, but even I'm like, why do I keep using these sticky notes? So dry erase board is coming up at some point. Stop at the dollar store or something. Okay, so I started by saying, do you have a message for our highest and best. Okay. So I wanted a message for the highest and best. Okay. Some people hate when I cover this up, and I'm like, I'm covering it up. We're having a conversation. Okay. So he said, I'm sorry. So that's interesting, right? I thought that was fascinating. So that's really nice. I mean, he's recognizing I'm sorry. But it's this word, it's I'm sorry. I thought, okay, that's cool, but it's the next one that I started to question, am I talking to someone who is of the highest um who is higher energy? I just wanted to make sure I wasn't speaking with someone with low energy. So so he said, okay, so I said, do you have a message for us for highest and best? He said, I'm sorry. Okay. Then I said, for what? Like, what are you sorry for? And he said, still living. He spelled that out, still living. So that's when I started questioning, like, really? Are you? So he said, I mean, 3 times he said, yes, I am of the highest and of the highest light. Okay. So I thought, okay, so you're sorry for still living, that his spirit is still living. His part of his spirit is having that human experience. He is sorry that spirit is still living. Okay. Entertainment purposes only. This is not a threat. It's just interesting. Okay. So then I said, well, what went wrong with your soul contract? Because, we all have a soul contract to come down here and accomplish something. And we know because we've done sessions with, did we talk to his? I think we did talk to his higher self directly with the soul contracts. I can't remember now. It's been a while. If you haven't seen the videos on his soul contracts, F45s, I'll go ahead and post it here. I think there's 3 of them actually. So I'll post them here. They'll pop up at the end of the video. Or maybe I'll just post one, like part 1. Because if you haven't seen part 1, then I'll just post part 1. Anyways, they're really interesting. So there's 3 parts, I think. So you can start with part 1 if you're interested, then look for part 2. Okay. But so I was like, well, what went wrong with your soul contract? Because the soul contract was, what he said is his soul contract, he was supposed to be a disruptor, okay, of systems. He was supposed to be a disruptor, but he's gone too far. He's gone too far. So he kind of went rogue, basically, is what we've learned, okay, and what we've recognized, okay. So then I said, what went wrong with your soul contract? And he said, just failed. It just failed. Okay. So the soul contract failed, basically. Okay. So he's kind of a rogue soul, as we can tell. So then I said, to help us raise our vibration as far as Trump is concerned, not as far as like how we're reacting to him, is what I meant and how I communicated that with him. What advice do you have? And he said, ignore. Okay. And I thought, okay. But then I said, well, how do we do that and be responsible citizens? And he said, must join protests. So he is suggesting we ignore him. And I thought, you know what? That's actually a really good message. Like, I can ignore him by not just watching all the shenanigans and stuff he's doing. And I have been doing that. Like, I haven't been pulled to watch him at all, like I was, for the first couple months or 100 days or whatever. So, but I think we can still ignore him. And if you're called to go to a protest, like he said, must join protests. So we know that June 14th is the next official protest day. And isn't that like his birthday weekend too? So we'll see about that whole thing, how that will be. So I think I am going to start going to the protests. I think this was great advice. I'm going to ignore him otherwise, which is actually really hard for a narcissist to be ignored. So it would be better if we all just ignored him and then protest. So I don't need to know, like I've been saying, I don't need to know any more information about what he's doing. I already know. I completely disagree with whatever he's going to do. I'm sorry. He's lost my trust. And even if he appears to be doing something, helpful at some point, I don't care. He's lost my trust completely, right? And I think a lot of people feel that way. So, well, let's see what his higher self has to say to us for with the inner child oracle. So, like I said, I asked him if he had any guidance he would like to give us. And he said he would with this deck. So I've already said the prayer because I was just talking to him. And so I'm just gonna keep that communication open right now with him, and we'll just go from there. Okay. Okay, so, well, let me just use the dowsing rod so you can see, especially if you're new here. If you are new and you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm going to post a playlist right here at the end of this video called Start Here, or you can find it on the channel. It's a great place to start. It has a lot of like even I have like 2 or 3 videos on just asking the SGs questions about soul contracts in general. Okay. Those are really helpful. In fact, I'm going to go back and listen to them. I'm serious. I will go back and listen to them because I will learn things, because it's really it's our guides collectively, the LTC, Lead Team Collective. That's what they're called now. If you missed that video, I'll post it right there, the Lead Team Collective video. Okay, so it's all of our guides, but they're the ones talking to us. And sometimes, I mean, I forget what they tell me too. I have to go back and listen to them. Okay, the soul contracts. Okay, so Mr. Donald Trump's higher self, hello. Hi there. So you have some messages for us with the oracle, correct? And it is a message of knowing that this is a community that is spiritually based, and we want to raise our vibration. And so are you giving us a message that will help us do that, please? Yes. Okay. So anything that is, well, you give us whatever message you want, but obviously a lot of people are challenged with the way that Donald Trump has handled things. That's putting it mildly. We're just challenged with him overall, I think. A lot of people are. So, so any guidance you can give us, look at really, really wide swing, you guys. He's like, yes, I know. And he did say he was sorry. Did you say you were sorry? Yes. Okay. Well, we appreciate it because I have a feeling, I mean, his higher self is the one who kind of has to deal with this, like forever. Just like Hitler's higher self has to deal with it forever. We did soul contracts. We did a conversation about Hitler's soul contract, and really, really interesting. You know, he's the one, his higher self has to feel every time somebody thinks about him negatively, his higher self has to deal with that. Let's see, I'm sure that Donald's higher self has to deal with this now. So there's a lot of hate thoughts, I'm sure, directed towards Donald, a lot of hate energy, dislike energy. Is that true? Yes. Okay. Not even just like obviously to his face, but just like I mean, I have a conversation with my husband at least once a day about him, which is really unfortunate. I remembered that when he was first president, the first 4 years, it was the same thing. It was the same thing. And then when he got back in office now, I was like, oh my God, that's right. That's what it was like. And you have to you just have to try to, because and I remember this 4 years ago, I'd be like, okay, what did he do today? It's the same thing. It just incredible. It just doesn't change. My God, literally my God. Okay, so I think I see a spider web up there. I'm always talking about the spiders crawling on my ceiling. It's spring, they're coming in. They're like, hello, the little baby ones. Okay, so shoot, what was I gonna say? Dang, I lost it. Oh, yeah. So do you feel when we have those thoughts, or do you feel it? Yes. Okay. Okay. And how does it feel? Does it feel good? No. Do you regret having sent part of your soul down to have this experience now? No. Okay. See, if he said yes, I was going to be a little suspicious, to be honest. Because I just don't, what I learned, he's saying really no, really wide swing no. Okay. Okay. I would have been a little suspicious because what I'm learning about the other realm is that, even though he's saying, I'm sorry, it failed, he's not regretting, because it's an experience. He's not regretting it because it's an experience. So, which is what we're all meant to be having and learning and, oh, so much fun. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so Mr. Donald Trump's higher self, what message? You wanted me to pull this deck, so what message do you have for us? What message do you have for us then? What kind of encouragement can you give us? Whoa, that's a lot. Okay, let me just see if the card is, there's a group of 4. This is the back side of the card. I'm not going to look at them. So there's 4 of them. Okay, let's just see if he wants me to read any of those. Okay, so do you want me to read one of those 4 cards that fell? Yes. Okay. Do you want me to read the one on the right? The first one on the right? Yes. The second one? Yes. The third one? Yes. And the fourth one? No. Okay. Is this a pick one opportunity for the community? Yes. So you'd like them to pick one and then their higher self will tell them what's best for them? Okay. All right. Okay. So this happens from time to time, not all the time. I just let the guides tell us when they want us to do a pick one. So what you'll do is we're just going to take a deep breath. Oh, look at the inside of this deck, you guys. So cute. Okay. Inner child. We're going to do a pick one. So just take a deep breath. You can just say 1, 2, or 3 kind of, in your mind or say it out loud. Just see what resonates with you. If there's something that, I usually I don't know, I kind of get stuck on a number and I just trust that that's the number. If you don't get one, it's totally okay. Don't worry about it. Just when I read them, there might be just one message that you're like, oh, that's the one for me. And that's okay too. You can just do it that way. Okay. So I'm just going to take a deep breath myself just to get the number for myself. Yeah, that's interesting. So I'm hoping someday, because I am meditating now and I'm starting to see things. Um, so when I said 2, I saw like just a little flash like that. So if you work with meditation, in fact, I saw a community member's comment today how this community member, thank you for sharing this, really helpful. I'm going to start doing this. She said 5 minutes a day she would meditate, just 5 minutes a day. And she would meditate on who am I? Who am I? And it really opened so much for her. Like that was 5 minutes a day, you guys, is all it took for her. So, and it's going to be different for everybody, like length of time or whatever, just to start getting the answers. And she's getting all the guidance she needs now, is what it sounded like so really cool. So I'm going to start doing that 5 minutes, 5 minutes, So just giving yourself some downtime. Okay. So card number one, I got 2. Mine was a 2. Okay. So card number 1, message from Donald's higher self. All right, let's look at the image first. Let's see if you see anything. It is a little small. Can you see what that is? Okay, what is that? Okay, oh, it's 2 people, 3 people. 2 people and an animal, it looks like. Okay, here is the message. 20. It is time to celebrate. Cultivate an air of celebration today. What? Now, the interesting thing is because yesterday morning, or it's like noon, or 2 o'clock, I posted a video. It was the predictions video, so spiritual message and political prediction for the 17th, May 17th. Okay. And no, May 18th. Today's the 19th, 18th. Okay. So, and the political prediction was Trump leaving soon, like to Saudi Arabia, like permanently. So this is interesting. But this is supposed to be for us, but it's still kind of interesting. It is time to celebrate, cultivate an air of celebration today. Okay. So if you picked a one, are you feeling it's time to celebrate? Or do you feel this is like a political message? Maybe all three of these are political messages. I'm not, well, let me just ask him. Was that card number one? I mean, we can always take the personal message too. Absolutely. But when you gave us these cards, did you mean them to, like this first one, it's time to celebrate? Are you telling us because that prediction of your higher self leaving for Saudi Arabia soon, is that why you're telling us it's time to celebrate? Yes. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, we'll see. It's for entertainment purposes only. I don't know. We'll see what happens because time, stuff changes and stuff. So, do you see that happening? The prediction that we got yesterday? You do see that happening? Okay. Interesting. Are these also personal messages for us? Are they personal messages because you're giving us some relief here? But he wanted us to do a pick one, so that doesn't make any sense to me. Okay. All right. So yes to some relief, I guess. I don't know. All right. Well, let's see. He wanted us to do a pick one, so that means to me like more personal, All right. So it is time to celebrate. Celebration is such a wonderful experience in this life, one that can bring about a sense of community and pleasure. Even the smallest of reasons to celebrate is reason enough. Oh, that's beautiful. As it is in the spirit of celebration and not necessarily the physical adornments that makes a gathering of people something extraordinary. If you have pulled this card, then it may be time to cultivate the air of celebration this week through action and spirit. In addition, this card could mean that it's time for you to celebrate yourself and your accomplishments. Cool. This practice can be done with others or by yourself, but the key aspect is to focus on what you have already accomplished, not what might be waiting for you in the future. If we do not celebrate ourselves in our current moments, then it might be hard to celebrate ourselves in our future moments as well. So it sounds like they want to encourage whoever picked number one, you got to start giving yourself some credit for all the growth that you're doing. Because I think sometimes we can be really hard on ourselves, right? I know I am. I've been really hard on myself and it's kind of silly. It's just silly. Okay, this is number two. Okay. So that first one was a 2 card. The number was 2, 20. It was a 20. 2 plus 0 is 2. Okay. So let's see what he wants to tell us. Oh, a 44. You know the way. Trust your intuition on this journey. That's awesome. The reason this is awesome for me is because I just texted my sister because when you're doing something like we're doing here, okay, there's a balance between, so when I started doing this, I started following my intuition 100%, like 100%. I would wake up and be like, what do I want to talk about today? And then I would talk about it. I would do the SGs and I would do and I would do the cards and I would do, and I just followed my intuition the whole time. Then of course we got a lot of people, which was amazing. You guys are amazing. And now we have stats and now we have time to, how much time do people watch and how much, and then you start doing those, you start looking at those things and it starts to change how you see the world or how you see what you're doing. And there's been many times, there's been like 3 or 4 conversations my sister and I have had over the last couple months, because we'll try to like put some structure on some stuff. As you've probably noticed, if you've been in the community, I keep trying to put, keep trying to put a little structure on something, and then I'm like, "Ah," and then some structure, and da, da, da. And it's really interesting that I'm getting this card right now, because it's for me, but it's also for you guys too. Obviously, if you pick number 2, it's how important it is. I literally just wrote to her and I said, you know what? Because we did another schedule this week of like all the different things we could do, and which is amazing. I mean, I'm a J in the Myers-Briggs. I love structure. There, I do. I love structure. But when it comes to this, I am finding I need to leave it up to my intuition. So we'll have a little structure, but so I do appreciate you guys in terms of like, I know like we've been trying to, we tried live for a while, and then blah, blah, and then we changed some things, and we've been changing the times of stuff. And I really, really appreciate you guys for sticking by us as we have tried to figure out how to balance structure with my intuition. And letting me free flow, you know what I mean? So it's been challenging, but this is interesting. So you know the way. Trust your intuition on this journey. Okay. So who is with me on this in terms of who needed to hear this today? I'm going to make sure Marcia listens to this. She's going to giggle about it too. Okay. So it's kind of, I mean, again, I picked number 2, so it's kind of interesting. In this life, there will be many voices telling you the right way to go. They can be confusing and sometimes contradictory, pointing out all of the intersecting paths that you could take. Just know that this life is yours and yours alone. No one else can tell you the path that is yours to walk, for only you know the way. If you have pulled this card, you know that you are going in the right direction. Wonderful. Wonderful for me. Wonderful for you. You're going in the right direction. In addition, this card can also mean that you might need to listen to your inner voice now regarding a future decision. Okay. Take some time to reflect on the voices that you might have been listening to. Is there one that is drowning out your own? Okay, that's very helpful. And no, my sister's not drowning out my own. She's been an amazing partner. I mean, she's the one who has to put up with me and my like, oh, I want to do it this way and I want to do it that way. And but for the first time in my life, because I'm not reporting to a boss, I get to follow my intuition. And maybe that's why I'm so resistant about it, So, okay. So let me know if anybody resonates with number 2 as well. All right, number 3s. Here's our 3s. And again, this is from Don's higher self. So these are really great messages. I asked him for messages to help us raise our vibration and just be on our spiritual path. What do you see? That's looking pretty good. She's kind of floating on water, isn't she? Okay. All right, 24, let love guide you. Choose to see the good in the world today. Okay, that's a really good message from his higher self. He's like, yeah, I know it's challenging. So if that's what we want, he's encouraging us to see, the good in the world, because maybe the 3s here, you're focusing a little too much on the things that are not so good. I did that for many months. So 24, it's a 6. 2 plus 4 is 6. So we have a 6, a 44, and a 2. 6, 44, and 2. Okay, so 24. 24. All right. There is magic all around us, woven throughout the fabric of existence. It weaves its threads within our lives, stretching between hearts, embracing souls, and wrapping itself within us. It is that spark, that feeling of home, that smile upon the face of a beloved friend. It is the good we see in the world and the good we carry deep inside of us all. Even so, at times we can lose sight of this good. If you have pulled this card, then it may be time to see that magic again. Okay? Anybody need to hear that? So what I like about this is that we've been able now to tap into Don's higher self. I just laugh when I say Don. I don't know. We've been able to tap into his higher self to maybe, give us something good to feel good about something today in relation to him. There are people in the world who feel good about him. I don't feel good about him. And it's nice to be able to have a conversation, for him to say, I'm sorry is really cool. Like, I wonder if he would do the Ho'oponopono prayer and ask for our forgiveness, right? So, all right. Well, I just want to say, Don, thank you. And whatever I'm going to ask, because we're supposed to ask, and I say every time I get one of these guys on the line, I always ask, right? So let's all ask for what we want from Don right now, Don's higher self. So, Donald Trump's higher self. If you could please do what you can to move this whole shenanigan thing along, as long as it's in the highest and best of all. Like, move it along. We would appreciate if it got moved along quicker, but not to interfere with the highest and best of all, and not to interfere with divine timing. But I would take your support however you want to give it, and anyone in the community who's asking for it, to continue helping us raise our vibration, regardless of what your lower self is doing right now, basically what your lower self is doing right now. So will you give us that support, please? Yes. Okay, awesome. So go ahead and ask for what you want, you guys. All right. Well, I hope this was helpful. I found it quite enjoyable. So let me know what you think. If you haven't subscribed, it would be amazing. It would really help us out. And if you give us a thumbs up, if you enjoyed this, of course, that would help too. So, all right. Have a great one. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.